Experts say North Korea's economic policies, which began after the Korean War, have hindered economic growth in the country. Songun, or military-first politics, was the regime's primary focus, which exasperated North Korea's long-standing economic issues and brought to light the inadequacies of the programs. The industrial and power output of the region has remained constant since the Korean War. If you are new to our YouTube channel, please subscribe and click the notification bell to avoid missing new content. Dinero Association will regularly add videos to keep you posted on the latest in business and finance. The pathetic economy of North Korea. North Korea operates a command economy that is isolated and closely controlled. A centrally planned economy is inherent in every communist country. In a command economy, the government is in charge of planning and implementing the economy. It is up to North Korea's government to decide what products to produce, how many, and at what price. The first stage of North Korea's economic development was propelled by industrialization, following the split of the once unified country. This was a challenging endeavor, given the devastation inflicted by the Korean War on the country's infrastructure. A socialist economic system and the Juche ideology were all adopted by the North Korean leadership in the Soviet Union. The growth of heavy industries and investments into sectors such as steel and cement were prioritized under this economic development paradigm. During the 1990s, North Korea's economy was at its lowest point and nearly collapsed. The collapse of communism triggered a food crisis, exacerbated a series of natural disasters such as hailstorms in 1994, floods in 1995 to 1996, and droughts in 1997. It grew by minus 4.1% between 1990 and 1998. How North Korea recovered. In the 2000s, North Korea's economic recovery policies changed. In 2002, it relaxed several restrictions to allow for semi-private markets and enacted a series of economic reforms dubbed Economic Management Improvement Measures, increases in both prices and wages, a shift in the mechanism for setting prices, changes to the distribution system, decentralization of national planning, increased enterprise management autonomy, opening of the distribution market for production methods, differentiated distribution, and reform of the social security system were among the measures taken. Economic growth quickened for a few years, and this period was viewed as an improvement over the preceding decade. Between 2000 and 2005, North Korea's GDP rose at a 2.2% yearly rate. The CIA's World Factbook estimated North Korea's gross domestic product at $40 billion in 2015, but has not updated GDP data since then. North Korea had a gross domestic product per capita of $1,700. Agriculture accounts for 22.5% of GDP, industry for 47.6%, and services for 29.6%. The country continues to invest substantially in its military, and some observers argue that this investment is coming at the expense of its economic development. North Korea spent an estimated $4 billion on defense in 2016, the most recent year for which numbers are available, accounting for about 24% of its GDP. North Korea's biggest trading partner now is China. North Korea seeks China's assistance in economic as well as diplomatic affairs. China received over 86% of North Korea's exports to the area in 2017. The country's primary export are metallurgical products, minerals, manufactured goods, textiles, and agricultural and fishery products. North Korea's imports are petroleum, cooking coal, machinery, equipment, materials, and grain. China imported more than 90% of the region's total imports in 2017. Is North Korea insecure? Coupled with North Korea's opaque character, The environment is ripe for a clash should be one of its periodic military provocations, like a missile launch. In a Korean Peninsula conflict, North Korea's vast conventional army and unknown nuclear arsenal would undoubtedly result in millions of deaths. Even with North Korea's recent missile launch, a war between the two countries is not near. False. Not only that, but the likelihood of a disastrous conflict is higher here than anywhere else on Earth. America is focused on ISIS and Iran's nuclear program. Despite being America's closest allies, North Korea receives significantly less public attention than South Korea or Japan, and no resolution is forthcoming. To understand why North Korea is so unstable, we must first understand the inverse. North Korea is terrified. Pyongyang is a poor country. The North is also vulnerable to military attacks. Its 1.2 million strong army still uses Cold War era technology, while its southern neighbors have cutting-edge contemporary equipment. Due to 23,500 US troops in South Korea, any confrontation between North and South Korea could result in terrible American losses. Faced with domestic and external threats, the North has devised a survival strategy that aggravates the South and the US. Pyongyang will launch an intercontinental ballistic missile or assault a South Korean military facility. While cognizant of the consequences, this challenging posture is aimed to dissuade Washington or Seoul from making even the slightest attempt to undermine the Kim government. It also tells the North Korean people that foreign invaders continuously threaten their nation's survival. North Korea is making it more challenging to get information out of the country. Since January of last year, the border has been blocked to stop the spread of COVID-19 from China. Even contacting loved ones in the North who have immigrated to the Republic of Korea is fraught with peril. North Korea has implemented strict rules to protect itself from the deadly coronavirus that swept the country last year. There was a significant setback in commerce with China, which is the country's most important trading partner. The coronavirus outbreak in North Korea has exacerbated the country's food shortages, which have been a problem for a long time. According to the country's supreme commander Kim Jong Il, the current scenario is like the country's biggest calamity, the arduous march, which murdered hundreds of thousands of people in the 1990s. The situation isn't considered to be dire at this point, and there are some encouraging developments. Assuming the North Koreans are ready to reopen their border with China, how much commerce and aid will be necessary to help the impoverished country recover is questioned. North Korea's economic crisis. Last chance for denuclearization? To get the sanctions relief Pyongyang needs amid a global economic catastrophe, Kim Jong Il is counting on growing his nuclear and missile arsenals to persuade the US to engage in arms control negotiations. On the other hand, North Korea's economic woes are a significant drawback for Pyongyang. As a result, Kim Jong Un will be convinced that his pursuit of nuclear weapons will bring an end to his rule. Previous attempts to persuade Kim were half-hearted and ultimately futile. Make a move now while you can. North Korea's denuclearization prospects have all but evaporated today. This goal is feasible if the US understands that Kim Jong-un and his regime are in danger, and that the time has come to convince Kim that the trembling he feels is a sign that the regime's days are numbered. Please share and like this content and let us know what you think by typing your comments below. Keep your notifications open and I'll see you on our next video.